Sponsored by Metex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Throughout our Wednesday, gorgeous conditions overall, thanks to a high-pressure system that's been developing. Mainly clear skies as we go into the later hours of our day. But the big story for today were these warm temperatures above average. This heat wave brought those temperatures into the upper 60s, even into the low 70s throughout our viewing area, and staying rather mild as we continue into the later hours of our night. 58 degrees right now in the Champaign areas, 60 both in Mattoon, also in Effingham. The further north we go, 59 in Watseka, 56 in Petersburg, and the warm spot over here in Jacksonville at 62 degrees with a big cool down coming up for your Thursday. All those details coming up as WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
Hundreds of students protested at the U of I tonight what they say student government is doing without them. Plus, a strike could be in the future for teaching assistants at one school district when they plan to walk out. And some kids needed a reason to smile at school. One dog named Bear is helping them do just that.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 9 on X49.
I took it directly as a means to try to silence the Jewish voices on this campus.
That's why hundreds of Jewish students at the U of I are protesting tonight. They say their input wasn't included in the drafting of what anti-Semitism means. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini. Jessica's off tonight. Tonight, the student government votes on how to define anti-Semitism as a student body. But Jewish students on campus say no major Jewish student groups or organizations were asked about what that definition should look like. Hundreds protested by walking out of the student government meeting tonight.
We are not here to negotiate the definition of anti-Semitism. We are not here to let anyone other than members of our community define what makes me and what makes everyone on this campus that is Jewish feel unsafe and unheard and unwelcome, and that's something that is a Jewish right.
A student senator who helped to draft that definition says they did consult Jewish students. He says they understand it's hard to define the hatred against a group of people because it can be felt in many ways. Teachers' assistants in Decatur are set to go on strike. A negotiation session between union and school board leaders ended abruptly with no sign of resolution. Both sides came to the bargaining table at 4. About 15 minutes later, the union president walked out and said the school board decided not to budge from its offer on health insurance, which the union says is not nearly good enough. One union member says this feels like a complete lack of respect as she and her colleagues are already fighting too hard to make a living.
Shock. And there are some people in that building that have been teachers. They've been in the classroom, and obviously they've forgotten where they came from. I'm going to tell you, I raised 3 kids working for this district. I lived out of my car to make sure I provided for my kids.
They're prepared to strike on Tuesday. The union president says there's a chance things could be worked out before then, but that chance appears slim. The Muhammad Seymour Junior High may be on the move soon. The school and village board have had joint meetings discussing the sale of the school building. Muhammad's looking for a place to build a new recreation campus. The junior high would join preschool through 2nd graders who attend Middletown Prairie there already. The village board proposed in early September they'd have first rights to purchase the building if they move. The district and village say discussions are in their infancy. Students across central Illinois stood against bullying today for Unity Day. From Unity High School in Tolono to Decatur Eisenhower High School, people were encouraged to wear orange in support of bullying prevention. The color was chosen as an expression of solidarity. The Danville Police Department's in the strategic phase of setting up 3 special units. The first is POP, or Problem-Oriented Policing. This group will work on issues or challenges facing the city. The second is for community housing. These officers will help build relationships with people in public housing and housing across the city. The third will focus on traffic enforcement. Police say they've had units similar to these before.
Our primary function is to mitigate different challenges and combat any type of crime issues that our city has. Again, this is not a new idea or a new philosophy in policing. What it is for us, it's specializing our resources.
They're hoping these units will reduce crime rates and foster relationships in the community. A murder trial started for a man accused of killing 2 people on Halloween. 22-year-old Quantravis Richardson is accused of shooting and killing 2 men 2 years ago. Investigators say Richardson had been drinking. They also say he was angry and took that out on 2 men who had nothing to do with him. A man wanted for murder turned himself into Indianapolis police. He's now in Champaign County. Jerry Exum was booked in the Champaign County jail. He's the suspect in a shooting that happened earlier this month. Police say he shot 2 men in Champaign. Both of them are expected to survive. A woman spent almost 2 decades behind bars for the death of her 3-year-old son, but it was a crime she didn't commit. Now she's sharing her story. Christine Bunch was convicted of arson and the murder of her 3-year-old son. He died when her home caught fire in the 90s. She was exonerated in 2012. With help from the Illinois Innocence Project, they found there were no accelerants in her son's room. The only place kerosene was found was in the living room, where a heater was being used.
It's very hard to go back and reliving, losing my child all over again. But it's also necessary because I need people to realize that this can be something that happens, an accident, and you can end up in prison for it. And we want to make sure that doesn't happen to anybody ever again.
Bunch was 22 and pregnant with another son at the time of the arrest. She says that made her journey extremely difficult as she missed essential parts of her son's childhood. But she enjoys spending time with him now that she's free. Coming up tonight at 10, Bunch spoke with police cadets today. We'll tell you what she had to say about keeping innocent people free. The city of Danville is working to get rid of properties that are beyond repair. Demolition sites are throughout the city, but they're all south of Voorhees Street. Most are abandoned, trashed, and damaged. There are 29 structures on the list. The city's already put out bids to find someone to demolish them. They have $280,000 in grant money to get the job done. All 29 should be demolished by the middle of February. From buildings being demolished to another one going up, a state-of-the-art greenhouse broke ground today at Research Park in Champaign. It'll support a research project called Realizing Increased Photosynthetic Efficiency, or RIPE. It's for sustainable increases in crop yield, and it's paid for by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Researchers say photosynthesis isn't as simple as setting a plant in the sun, and changes can be made to them to make them grow better.
One of the beauties of photosynthesis is it's the same process in cassava as in soybean. So we know if we can make it better in one of those crops, we should be able to make it better in the other.
The greenhouse should be complete by September. Still to come, everybody likes free food, right? So we'll tell you what you can get to chow down on thanks to the World Series.
And our code word for tonight is FROPA. So all you have to do is go online for our Out of the Rain sweepstakes and enter today's code word for a chance to win one of our umbrellas. And this weather quiz question now, when was the earliest snowfall in 2018? A, October 23rd, B, October 12th, C, November 2nd, or D, November 8th? We'll see if we can answer this question right after this.